So here we are. This has been recorded 2 or 3 weeks deep into the release of First Light. So we're not going to go through the game in exhausting, nauseating detail tonight. But we are going to gloss over some of the things we love. We just want to talk about it, and we all love it. I think we can all say that from the start. I'm joined by some from the podcast. So tonight I've got John, Matt, and Harry from the podcast.
Evening.
Hey.
Good
Now,
evening.
Yeah, we've all played it to different extents. We'll go through where we've got up to so far, just so we're not spoiling each other and the listeners. Perhaps you haven't completed it yet. But we do have a guest who has completed it tonight. We've got George Aldridge from Cinema Savvy. Great to have you yet again, George.
Thank you for having me back on. Can't wait to talk this.
Well, Sam is our mutual friend, of course, who does a lot of stuff on your channel. He and you are sort of gaming experts, I suppose you could say. Just because we've been very inexperienced in the last few years, haven't we? Not since GoldenEye, but since the Pierce Brosnan games, maybe. So it's good to have your knowledge and the knowledge of sort of the industry as well, because I really want to know what are non-Bond fans, what are gaming fans thinking about the game. And the reviews are good, but we'll go into them later. So yeah, I think nearly 6 years ago was it announced? Was it November 2020? Something. I mean, that seems like an age ago. It was actually in the period where we were waiting and waiting for No Time to Die, and it kept being delayed. So we had all this going on, and then we kind of forgotten about it until maybe a year ago. I think the trailer came out. The first trailer came out, and if you go back on our series, we've reviewed that. We've reviewed, of course, the song from Lana Del Rey and David Arnold, the title sequence, the gameplay trailer, and the first playthrough. So check them out. But tonight we're going to go more in depth about the gaming experience itself. And I really want to say I'm pretty excited to hear this, even though I'll start by saying my own experience of the game is I went over to Maths, I played through the pre-title sequence, Iceland level, the song. Then I did the first training levels in Malta, and I think I'd got up to going back to MI6. I think it was somewhere about that. Maybe Matt, 10% of the game, and it does it in these new things, percentages. That's the thing I didn't know existed. So that's where I'm at now. Until we go to George, who else? Where else is everybody up to?
Tom, you and I were about to do where you sort of in digs with
Oh yeah,
with Munro and Cressida, and then a brilliant. Let me think. What order? No, I think you go back to Malta to do some more training, crisp little level there, and then you go to a nightclub and do like a surveillance type thing, which is absolutely brilliant, so good. And then it's into the meat of the story. I think going on a mission to Slovakia, which we can discuss
brilliant
later.
And that was revealed in the gameplay trailer. Well, it wasn't it's like 30 minutes of playing through that level. So we have seen a lot of that, and that's the first thing that showed us this is stealth. This isn't just shoot 'em up. This is trying to infiltrate somewhere where you shouldn't be.
Not exactly the 5-star treatment. Oh, I'm stretching my legs. Bond, reporting suspicious behavior.
009?
No, one of the hotel staff. Strangest looking bellhop I ever saw. He was mishandling luggage.
Are you joking? What are we, the local tourist board?
I guess he had to be there. It was odd. I'm gonna check it out.
You will not. 009 is our only priority. Stay at your post, James. That's an order.
Yes, Mom.
Of all us here chatting, I'm the next along in terms of I've done that and then I've finished Slovakia. I don't think, Matthew, you've quite finished Slovakia because that was just like almost, it could have been the climax to a film, it could have been the climax to a game. So I was absolutely enthralled and kind of put it down there. There's a few stages afterwards actually of things that happen where you attend things and you go back to meeting at Moneypenny for a bit of a briefing. I did that just to sort of bring myself back down, and then I stopped.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond. He's with me.
You sound familiar.
Today's not about me. It's about you and the incident last month. Come on.
Your visitor's pass, Mr. Bond.
Thanks.
We're going upstairs, all the way to the big brass. It's quite the stir you made.
Go big or go home?
Yeah, or go big and disappear.
So I'm in trouble.
Did I say that? I wouldn't have. That's confidential.
Is this about me hanging up on you in Iceland?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, if that's how you want it. Pleased to meet you. I'm James. And you are?
Infuriatingly secretive.
Just hearing you describe, Matt, the various stages, it's just so good to hear, being Bond training in Malta.
Yeah.
And also, Tom, when you mentioned, the first thing we heard 5 or 6 years ago was that they're just making a game, and it was very vague. Certainly to me, who doesn't understand the gaming industry as much, I honestly thought, maybe it's because of where things were with the actual film franchise, I thought it would be like a mobile game or something like, those Spectre things that you can do around London. I just thought it'd be a little something like that. A little something like, something like that, okay, yeah, good. Like, as a little extra. I mean, it is far, far beyond what I could have even dreamed of. Certainly, if I've seen it, I've not remembered what percentage I'm up to, but I'm very much taking it slow. I think I've had like 2 days where I've played. The first day where I, really rallied through, and then I had an evening where I spent another couple of hours. But I'm hoping, I've still got quite a lot left. And the way I left it, after having been briefed by Moneypenny, I knew where Bond was heading next, and it was jolly exciting. I thought, right, I'm going to stop. And I guess that's where you are now, John.
I was there today. I got a bit addicted today.
Yes.
Can I say the location?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I think it mentioned it.
Vietnam. It was in the trailer.
No, but this is another one that's been mentioned, I think.
Oh,
I'm in Mauritania.
Oh yeah, no, that is is that the Kravitz area, maybe? Or
It is, yeah. So I'm in Mauritania. I have done the first bit, which is sensational. Like the first bit in terms of, how we talk when we talk about films, we want to see Bond in surroundings. We want to see Bond engross himself into the culture of a place. Well, that's what we do. And I was just like, oh, this is amazing.
Over there.
Gents, heads up. Bavma's heli is inbound.
Copy that, Moneypenny. Heading inside.
Stop touching your ear.
What?
I said, stop touching your bloody ear. Yes, boss.
What kind of security can we expect? We'll have eyes on us, no doubt. Locals, dealers, Bavma's men. Try not to draw attention to yourself.
Me? Never.
What you do with Tafta is not my problem. You've just made it your problem. Out the way, pretty boy.
And then I've gone beyond that. I've met the people in there and done some phenomenal stuff in there. And more spy work, far more contrasting to all-out action. It's all it's very considered. Then there's been a big twist in the story, and I am now...
You definitely can't tell us that.
yeah.
No, I'm not telling you anymore. I'm guessing at the end towards the end of the Mauritania levels. That's where I'm at this moment in time. So, George, how far have I got to go? Am I like towards the end now? I don't know.
Kind of don't want to give anything away to any of you. The one thing I'll say, I thought I was at the end of the game, right? In about 4 different chapters. Like, every time I thought, I'm near the last level, I wasn't. And that was more delightful. Maybe it was delightful at like 1 a.m. when I'm like, I really need to go to sleep. During a heat wave as well. There's a lot of fun with it, and kind of my background with gaming, like when I was at school, I was obsessed with gaming. Like everything, played it all the time, COD, FIFA, story games. As I've got older, I don't want to judge anyone's age or to say if anyone's in the same boat. You get to that point of playing a game as this, I've actually got an hour of time. Have I got enough time to play something for a little bit that's not too short? I've hit that point in my life. But when there's a game out that I'm really desperate to play that I know will be spoilers or I'm gonna see something online, I will set time aside to make sure how quickly can I smash this out. And
You must be
the
good
Bond,
enough then to play the game.
yeah, like, I mean, I've played it on normal difficulty, and that's how I normally do games, normal difficulty, and then when there's a sequel coming out, I'll go and redo it on the harder one just
Yeah.
before, so it's a bit more challenging. That's how I like to do them, and I used to collect trophies a lot, so sometimes you've got to play on the hardest difficulty. I don't think you have to on this one, but there's so many things like New Game Plus is a thing. I don't think that's on the Bond game, but that's a lot of games is you get to replay the story with everything you unlocked by the end of it the first time.
Oh,
So they try and bring in replay value, but kind of like jumping in. Obviously, I've finished the story. I've done this thing called Tactical Sim, like 1 or 2 goes.
Back for more, I see.
Just can't keep away. Here goes nothing.
It's like a little training room. It's
Yeah.
a smart
Saw that.
idea.
I might kill some time on
I've
that.
done a couple of, yeah.
is that a
Yeah,
side
and it-
thing? You can do that
Yeah.
at any point. Right.
Yeah,
Is it HQ? It's like virtual reality kind of stuff. is
Gemma,
it? Or-
Gemma Chan.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
that's
Okay.
it. You
Brilliant.
kind of replay a level, but you're not replaying the level, and there's challenges like don't do a finisher, shoot them in the leg to get you points and stuff like that. So I feel like there's replayability in it, but the story, I don't know the structure of this, but if I just jump in, I want to compare it to, I don't know if anyone's played the Spider-Man games on PlayStation in recent years.
No.
You know how you guys have spoke about it's what you wanted from the films, Bond being Bond, put him in a new environment. It feels like you don't have the time in a 2-hour film to really not explore, but we know how a film's structured. The way you can just spend 30 minutes in a location and it's just walking around and not even doing
Yeah.
the core story, and it's not open world, but there's enough space to explore
Yeah.
little quirks of the character coming in. That's what's reminded of the Spider-Man games, is that let you do the stuff you wanted to do. For Spider-Man, just swinging around New York, you can do that for 2 hours, no problem, and you don't have to do
Yeah.
anything. And
Nice.
I feel like as a Bond fan, it's everything I wanted from this game as an initial comment, because it isn't trying to be the films. I don't know the books as well. It's not trying to be the books from what I've read. If you want to know how little I knew about the game heading into it, I've intentionally avoided every single trailer.
Oh, right. Okay.
Music, I ignored the song.
Oh,
The gameplay. The gaming is the only thing where I can avoid all that sort of stuff. Like films, you just can't. Like with what we do, you're at the cinema, you see trailers. They played a trailer for this before the Mandalorian screening, but I just sort of was on my
Really?
phone instead
Yeah.
to block it out.
right. That's good, though, that they did that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew nothing, and the way I know so little, for some reason, I thought this was going to be set in the 50s, like it was a Bond game, but no. So when it gets to the opening scene in the pre-title sequence, which is also doubles up as one of the best tutorials for a game ever because it's the
Yeah.
pre-title sequence.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is modern day. Forget everything I thought this game could be then, and I've had such a fun time with it, not knowing anything about it. Obviously, I've seen like the poster and they did like a big premiere and stuff like that, but it's been fun to go to, and it's sort of, I don't want to say filled the gap because we're still waiting on the film, but we know things are in motion. It's really nice to have what looks like it's going to be a new series alongside the film series operating as two completely the same way people of the book series they enjoy that's ongoing. They're going to have a game series, whilst obviously games take a lot longer than films to make, which is ironic. And they'll have new films. I don't watch that Amazon game show. There's that too for those that are into that. Yeah, weird tangent from me, but yeah, when my dad mentioned it to me, he was like, "Oh, I bet they can't afford Daniel Craig." I was like, "Well, A, he's dead, but B, it's not how the games industry works. That it needs to be its own thing." Because I grew up with the Brosnan ones and I loved them.
Yeah.
But in this day and age of gaming, you've got much more legs on the series if you make something original to your own with everything.
Yeah.
And in turn, without turning it too much of a lecture from me, I feel like this puts a bit of pressure on those making the film in a good way. Of look what these guys are doing. How can we do that? Can we do something similar? Because there will now be comparisons to the games, which is great for James Bond as a whole.
From what I know, I mean, this will be updated. This is just things I've heard in the industry, that it costs 200 million to make the game, and it needs to basically sell I think 3.5 million copies to break even, and so far it's sold 2.2. I'm hearing after like the
And
first
that's
week.
incredible, isn't it?
So basically, it's going to be a success. It's going to spawn sequels. There's then been a bit in the news that IO Interactive aren't going to have overall control. It's going to be handed over to Amazon, but they've done a statement saying, "Don't worry, lads, that we're just going to keep things as they are." So that's, I know people are still anti-Amazon. Some people are still anti-Amazon because this, of course, started before they took over.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why. But it does. I think if it had come out when we still didn't know what was going on between Amazon and Eon, and there was that infighting, it might not have been as, we'd be like, oh, I'd rather know that there's a film coming before I can enjoy the game as much. The fact that now wheels are in motion, we've got, as we know, producers, director, scriptwriter, and probably, by the end of the year, hopefully an actor will be announced. Maybe this will change things. I don't think it will, because I think this has been brewing for so long. Patrick Gibson was cast years ago, wasn't he? He's been doing this for years. I've also seen on Instagram loads of actors have sort of come out and said, I've been doing this, I couldn't tell anyone for the last 5 years, even if it's like small parts in the background, because of course it's all motion captured, isn't it? And the voices afterwards. So it's a really exciting time to be a Bond fan again. And I think from our own sort of family experience, our nephew, Sam, how old's Sam now, Matt? 13? He's really keen to play the game. And he doesn't really have a massive connection to James Bond other than us lot showing them. So I think the fact that it is in the public conscience, people know it, and we'll come on to so many different topics to discuss, because Patrick Gibson now is being talked about for the new Bond. I mean, I say that'd be lovely, but he doesn't look like that. They'd have to do CGI in him every scene. But anyway, and it also shows though that the public accept a younger Bond, doesn't it? So if Amazon are going down that route for the films, which apparently they are, late 20s, early 30s, we can see that it succeeds in the game.
As long as it's not Tom Holland.
Oh, thank you. No chance.
Yeah.
None of us would like that here.
I really don't think it will be.
No, I agree. Or Jacob Elordi. I love him. But a 6'5" Australian isn't going to fit in when you're trying to do a spy mission.
Not on stealth mode on the game.
Crouch, Jacob.
Yeah. Well, Patrick Gibson, first of all, I've only heard good things about his portrayal of Bond, and it's like from what the little I've played, it doesn't feel like he's copying anyone. It feels like he's his own Bond character, but it still feels like part of the same universe, the books, the films, the continuation novels, and the other games. It feels like the same character. And even though this is more difficult in a way, because we haven't seen Bond visually, we've only seen him in the books, haven't we, at this age?
I think some of the others are still alive, but the hostiles plan to blow up the place.
You need to get out of the blast zone.
Oh, I need to save those people.
That is not your call. Stand down. That's an order. Listen carefully. You have less than 1% chance of success. Now stand down.
I'll take those odds.
Bond.
Very good things to say about Patrick Gibson as Bond, lads.
Like George was saying, it's not necessarily trying to recreate any of the films. It's not trying to recreate the books. It's trying to be its own thing. And yet, it's completely in keeping. It feels so canon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In a really good way. It feels almost like the bridge between the Craig era and everything that went before, in terms of, because that's those two worlds are the ones that don't get along so much. But this, I could see that this iteration by Patrick Gibson in some way fits the Craig kind of era a little bit, and it fits the other era as well. So it's kind of like a really nice bridge between the two. Perhaps we'll go into story and the things that happen in it later. But Patrick Gibson is one of those things where he is playing James Bond, but I don't get any impression that he's copying any of the other actors. He is absolutely his own version, and I think he's been fortunate that he's been given this kind of origin story as well. I think that kind of helps. He's not kind of fitting in, trying to follow Brosnan or trying to follow Daniel Craig. He is being given his own start, and yet it does feel canon. It's amazing. He's Irish, isn't he? Is he?
Yeah.
So there's his charisma and being able to portray that through motion capture is very impressive. But like his voice, his manner is really, really infectious. In that first level, I loved being him. And it was great to see him as kind of a soldier, kind of a jarhead almost. Because you felt like, wow, that this guy's capable, this guy's impressive. But then as the game advances and as it evolves, he's like becoming a bit more refined and a bit more, of a gentleman. And you feel like, wow, this is like the generation, him being generated. It's. I think he's excellent, and the advantage I think we've talked about in a previous episode, if they are hopefully doing sequels and a series of these games, this should be his thing now. This is his likeness, and obviously aging shouldn't be a problem either. They should be able to control how he looks, and I think the outfits that we see him in this game and hopefully in future games, I think he will suit the style of them. He's fashionable, yet he's athletic. He's aggressive, but he's also friendly. I think he is a really, really great portrayal of Bond. Whether that would translate to a cinematic Bond if he was Bond looking like he does in the game, yeah, maybe I'm not sure, but it just works so well for this game, and it's one of many, many things that they've hit the nail perfectly with, I think.
It's important, Matthew. You said it's an original story as well.
I think that obviously helps him and helps the whole thing. It's so exciting that it's set now, and that maybe helps him in terms of like that's not something he's sort of taking it forward. But it's so interesting because when it's a game, you can't quite do some of the same long drawn out character bits that probably films these days quite like to do. I'm not saying that it doesn't do character, but you're only a few seconds away from moving along and everything. But I was so excited with the start, and then to see him on screen, this new James Bond, and I'm not going to be like Craig bashing or anything because it's the first time for so many years that somebody else has been James Bond, and it is possible,
Yeah,
it is possible for a non-Eon James Bond with a different, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is all shown, and Patrick Gibson has shown that someone else can be Bond, that Bond can live in this world, and even the old, some of those great games, possibly Agent Under Fire, but Nightfire, I think, had Pierce Brosnan's likeness. Agent Under Fire was sort of him. Everything or Nothing was Brosnan's fifth film.
Yeah.
Bloodstain was Craig's
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having a new Bond, who I'm pretty sure won't be the cinematic Bond. I mean, it's just so exciting. Someone new playing him and putting him in these scenarios. Oh, it's just magical.
I mean, it's just perfect. I like a couple of the films in the Craig era. I think they're really great films. But I've come onto this, and I think I feel like a child again. That's the only way I can describe it. I feel like I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm living out Bond.
Aspirational, Rob's favourite word.
Yes, but grounded as well. It's not, it's a mixture. It's not aping a Brosnan era. It's not trying to be Roger Moore. It's not trying to be Daniel Craig. It's its own entity. I'm only halfway through or whatever, so I have to be careful what I say. And George may wince and think, "Oh, John, you've no idea what's coming," and all the rest of it. But dear me, the storytelling highlights to me what we've been missing in Bond films over the last. That's what's got me.
Right.
Oh my word! Like, this is an amazing game to play, and there's lots of different ways to play. But I have not skipped one scene yet. I am wanting to sit and watch and engross myself in what's happening. And that might be because I'm a Bond fan and I want to make sure that I don't miss any nuggets or anything like that. But it is also because the story has completely drawn me in a way that I haven't really felt at the cinema. And that has been It's actually been really emotional. I'm not just saying that. Like, I found that really emotional because I haven't had it for so long. I had it with Skyfall when I went watching that, but I haven't felt that. I think Patrick Gibson is outstanding as Bond, but I think I don't agree with this chat about potentially him being a cinematic Bond. I think that to me, how am I going to say this? So Lenny James is in the game, and he plays Greenaway, whatever he's called.
John Greenway.
John Greenway, that's
John
one.
Greenway.
And he's great, but you look at him and it's Lenny James.
Yeah.
You look at him and it's Lenny James. There, it's his likeness, his voice. Patrick Gibson, it's not really his likeness.
No.
You know, it's certainly not his voice. And what he has done, he has adapted who he is for a computer game perfectly.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't get that on screen. And actually, that's real credit that they've managed to differentiate those two roles and gone, no, this is the perfect Bond for a computer game. His swagger, his comments, his demeanor, he's fighting action. Every little bit is outstanding and perfect for a computer game. But I'm not of the opinion that let's jump on a bandwagon and this is our cinematic Bond. Let's keep the two separate and celebrate the strengths of both.
And he's only 5'8" and blonde, so I'm only joking.
I think that, you know, him being suggested to play the next cinematic Bond, is just a sort of obvious thing that was always going to be suggested. It was always going to be said.
Well, only if he was good, and only if people enjoying it.
True. I think it's the two are separate, and you know this has been written. It's amazing. Sorry, this is a video game, and obviously part of the context is that I don't play video games so much anymore. But this is a video game, and yet I think we're kind of talking about it like it's a new film. It's like a new entry into the, and that is the story, you know, that you've talked about, John. Of course, it's Patrick Gibson as well, and all these characters and actors. But the story, you know, and it's a bit like Math said, you know, it shows that, you know, other people can be Bond. It shows that there are loads of people out there that can write a good Bond story. the writer of this, like a guy, Michael Vogt, you know,
Danish guys.
It's kind of those people from a distance who are clearly fans and interested in Bond who think, I'm going to give you fans. I'm going to give you exactly what I'm not on the
into.
Yeah, they're not like writers who have so engrossed with Bond that they want to subvert expectations. They are people of the world who know exactly how Bond fits in the world in terms of the consumers, and they've given us exactly what we want. And so far it's a really, really good story. And like you, John, I'm not skipping any of it. I am lapping up every moment, and the characters even. You know, there is some character development. I think I messaged you guys. There's a scene where you visit Q and you get to know the gadgets, and then post Slovakia, you go back to Q, and there just somehow feels like you've got this connection. You've got a connection with Q, which is so special. And you know, again, I don't want to be. That's something I've not felt for many, many years either. That kind of Q being a bit of a fatherly or wise figure that he just goes to vent or to get some wisdom from.
James Bond, stand still.
I'm looking for someone called Q.
And you found him. Pick one.
I already have a watch.
Oh, you do? May I see it? Now you get a new one.
It's amazing that a video game has us talking like it's a film. I mean, maybe that's just how video games are now, but I am fully treating this like a new installment in all the Bond stories.
Yeah, 100%.
First Light. I mean, I was so excited about this in the lead up. Excuse me. I was so excited. Right the way through, from the moment that it was announced that it was coming, so to speak, which I believe is five years back. So at times during that period, it was easy to forget about it, but we hadn't really had a gold standard James Bond game at all in any of that time. I feel like there might have been a few near misses. I don't know when the Lego one was. So for a lot of us, like, who enjoy video games and really wished for a James Bond game, which there is a lot, you would have to find sort of like make solace with some of the spy stuff that was in other games, basically. And we've had to be doing that for years and years and years. Then when IO sort of announced this, it was extremely exciting, really, really exciting. You know, you had so many questions, but you didn't want to ask too much, or you were a little nervous to ask too much, that kind of thing. And you wondering an awful lot. We heard the game was coming, and then we didn't hear anything for ages and ages and ages. We didn't see anything for ages and ages and ages. Then when the stuff started to emerge, it all looked positive, but it looked positive in a really restrained way. Like we weren't being forced any sort of narrative about it, like this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread, this is going to change the way you think about James Bond, or anything like that. We were just told, like, it's coming, there's a team working behind it. The visuals in those early marketing images were really, really classy, and you were just told, like, it's coming. And then when the odd thing emerged, you were impressed with. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm saying you as in, like, I'm talking to, like, the virtual you out there, but, like, I was impressed with what I was seeing. And then, like, they dropped the proper trailer, and it was like, oh my word, my expectation is now, my excitement, sorry, not expectation, excitement, is too big now. Like, I have to pull back from this, because there was like a full year, wasn't there, or longer possibly, I can't even remember, when we'd seen some footage, we'd seen some images, and then we were told it's May 2026, you gotta hang in till. So it's like, alright, okay, we can do that. But all the while, you know, like, there is the odd drip feed of bits and pieces, but it was all very small, it was all very managed, in keeping with some of the greatest sort of, I think, some of the greatest James Bond promotional campaigns there have been. And then you get that massive gameplay trailer, which is the Slovakia hotel mission, essentially. And it was like, flipping Nora, this, I watched about 2 minutes of it and was like, I have to turn that off, because I cannot wait to play this, but I want to play it like I'm in it. Like, I don't want to play it like I've seen all this before. The game comes out, and you start hearing it's good. And then you start hearing it's really good. And I think there's a difference between... There's two ways of looking at this game going forward, I think, actually, in what I'd like to say about it. There's one is about, is it a good game? And then there's, is it a good game if you're an absolute James Bond nerdo, weird, aficionado lunatic? Which I am in the second of those camps. And then if I sit in that camp, I am overwhelmed with happiness with what I've experienced from First Light. I just am. You know, actually, it started a few weeks earlier with the unbelievable First Light song dropping from Lana Del Rey, and the classiness with which it executes itself. I mean, it's just superb, but it's so Bond. I mean, I think that's something I'm going to keep saying. It's so Bond. Everything about this project, from the minute that you start it, when you actually own the game and you put it into your console, it's pure Bond. This is, for me, just let me say it, this is the most Bond experience I've had in over 20 years. It really is. It really is. Everything was there that I love about James Bond. Sophistication, spy work, like seeing things I've never ever seen before. I saw stuff in this game I've never ever seen before, narratively as well as visually. It was just brilliant. It's just the most, it's easily the most fulfilling game experience I've had in a long while. Obviously I'm very biased because I'm an absolute James Bond nerd, but when you put it in those terms, like, I've just overwhelmed by how much I enjoyed this. And the amount of times that I, wanted to drop the controller immediately and text everyone I knew who was equally a James Bond nerd to tell them about what I'd just seen, but couldn't because I was, like respecting everyone's enjoyment of the game and discovering it naturally, because that was what was wonderful to me. Gibson is superb, by the way. Gibson is absolutely superb. He's everything you would want from a young prototype James Bond. I thought he was superb. Earnest, devilish, cheeky, smart, suave, very, very rootable for, despite the cruder elements of his younger character, younger James Bond incarnation. It's superb. It's just a brilliant, brilliant performance. And that's what you've got to call it. You've got to call it a performance. It delivers. It just delivers and delivers and delivers. It's given me so many goosebumps. There are so many moments in it where I'm screeching and screaming because of something that's happened that has reduced me to such excitement. And let's talk redactions now if we don't want to talk about it, but arriving at Vietnam. Hello, you are Mr. St. John Smythe.
All right, who are we playing today, James?
Smythe. St. John Smythe.
And what do we do for work?
We run our own company.
Enjoy your time at the pub, Mr. Smythe.
I most certainly will. Chin chin, Moneypenny.
And Vietnam?
Once a year, we hop on a plane and venture somewhere to recharge our creative juices. This year, when the dice rolled, Vietnam came up.
Okay. I'd buy it.
Talk to me, please. This is too great. This is the developers going, we understand what this is. We also understand that it's a huge book property, it's a huge novel property, but it's also a huge cinematic property. How can we appeal to both of these camps while giving them a fresh, engaging, exciting, desperately exciting adventure to enjoy? They have just smashed out the park. They really, really have. It's everything I wanted as a fan of both the books and the movies. It's just everything. So the St. John Smythe nod's incredible. Just the little details like, what's that on the table over there? Oh, it's called like a lad pamphlet-y thing for a very, very, for Kay Mallovy, in a very decorated cellist who Bond says, I think I saw her in Bratislava, or something like that. Like, flipping heck, you guys know what you're doing. Everyone ever is allowed to come to James Bond and form their own opinion of what it should be, what it means to them. And that's great. It's one of the great things about Bond. But if you are this careful and respectful of the source material that has gone before you, you deserve all the love in the world and all the respect in the world, because there were so many of these moments where I cannot believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing. Like there's a moment where, you tie a bow tie for the first time and you're using the... I mean, like, are you mad? This is surely exactly what we want from a James Bond game. The cast of characters was brilliant. Not only did they make a brilliant James Bond adventure, but they actually wrote one that was superb across all fronts as well. Brilliantly written. So many surprises and excitement. Also didn't outstay its welcome as well, but also gave me enough to keep thinking, the game's finished here. No, it's not. You're going off here doing this now. It kept delivering and delivering and delivering, and I just love it. It's just one of my favourite James Bond experiences, certainly one of my favourite video game James Bond experiences. I think it'll take all sorts to usurp GoldenEye as sort of like Planet Earth's premier James Bond video game experience, because that was something no one had ever seen before. Like, the whole thing was a complete change shot in the arm, a complete regeneration and reassembling of everything we knew that video games could be. Whereas, there is clear, nods to influences in First Light. Drake's Fortune is one. I also think there was also awesome Tomb Raider games. The redo games were awesome as well. There's a bit of that going there, and I think both of those were superb. But this is its own entity, but it obviously carries some DNA from, incredible game projects that have gone before. But this is just elite level game creation. It's elite level storytelling. It's elite level fan respect. I just think it's one of my favourite. I can't even. First Light, you absolutely smashed it. Everyone at IO, you smashed it. I cannot wait to see what comes next. You have, I hope, the foundation and framework to create more of this absolutely outstanding world. For me, Patrick Gibson, he is one of our James Bonds. You know, we've got another one. So I'm just, I'm elated. I'm so happy. I'm on my second playthrough, and I love it, and I'm so grateful we've got it.
Like the Arkham games, where you had the Dark Knight come out, giant hit, comic stuff everywhere. Then there's a game series running at the same time, which is as successful in its own right. And I think as someone that's not into gaming like I was, but understands the scale of it now, it's kind of common sense to have a Bond. I know it's easier said than done, right? You know, 007 Legends, should have been great, but it really wasn't. And we didn't get something since for very obvious reasons. But the history of modern Bond, I don't know if it's modern anymore. You look at GoldenEye in the 90s, and that like revolutionized multiplayer gaming. That's impact on the gaming industry is massive. And even a very personal favorite of mine, Quantum of Solace on PS3, the first ever game I platinumed. It was basically Call of Duty but James Bond, but guess what? It was Call of Duty but James Bond, so it was fun.
Yeah, that's great.
And I think what I've loved with this, which is my biggest nerve heading into this, is not only is it going to be too much like a film, are they maybe going to take things from the books that work, or is it going to segue into this is going to end where a book we know begins, or something such as that? It really is its own story, and I think that's what's key for me, that to not only make it function as a game, but as a 12-hour story. That's quite. I mean, I don't know as much about the infrastructure of the gaming industry, but there was an era where multiplayer was everywhere. Now we've had single-player games be as big successes, and the budget of games has got so expensive. Left, right, and centre here on the news about studios getting busts. There's so much money in it. If a game gets a bad launch, that ends studios now. Obviously, this game moved into the GTA slot, which was a good idea. I've got a colleague whose partner's in the games industry, so I hear a lot through them. Apparently, every single studio was trying to get games out before GTA. So when that then moved to November, everyone took a bit of freedom for a few months, which is why they moved Bond from March to May. Maybe even that's a blessing in disguise. If it hadn't been ready in March, it'd be a very different reaction if there were bugs, glitches. But to release it functionable with almost no issues. I know there was a bit of nerve on the release week that the review embargo was an hour and a half before you could play it. Off the record, I knew a few people that had got a copy early who were enjoying it, but they weren't allowed to say. They were in like film. I'm discussing film. If you've had that on Twitter, it's like a big account. The guy who runs that, they've got sent an early copy, and they've just chosen to have an embargo really close to the early access, which fair enough, because obviously in film terms you think, oh, that's a sign it's going to be bad, but I wondered, okay, if they just not want people spoiling it. But the story and the characters are what's done the most for me. I mean, looking at the Bond formula, pre-title sequence, title sequence, the thing that I think playing for that first time, I thought, okay, I'm fully in, was the Malta sequence, because I was sat there like, how are you going to do the origin Bond? But to do a training camp over a few months to slowly up the difficulty of a tutorial, I was like, you know what? Yeah. They've absolutely nailed how to do this. Because when we want to play as Bond, because ultimately we're the players, we are him. You want to be playing as James Bond, not half of James Bond, not him in 20 levels time James Bonds. Casino Royale ends wonderfully with him becoming Bond, but if you're playing the game, you need to be at that level. And I think the training montage, I can't wrap my head around it. It's just genius. Yeah, and it's really it's simple storytelling. Even I'm allowed to talk about Monroe, like the training sequence you get in a fight with the person you're training with, and I'm sat there like, oh, this guy, he's going to be the big bad. Is he going to be the Sean Bean? And no, like it's a respectful relationship.
Yeah, it becomes more matey, does it?
Yeah, like you mentioned the nightclub mission. That's like the double O's on a mission together.
The epiphylium occipitalum only blossoms at night.
That's an interesting pickup line.
Sorry. Thought you were someone else.
Hey, how can you be so sure I'm not the one you want, yeah? We only just met. What do you say? You want to get out of here?
Meet me outside in half an hour.
Oh, good. You showed.
And I was just about to leave. You're late.
Give her hell, okay? We need her to call her handler.
I was like, that's really cool. And the fact, it's not a spoiler because it's the start. The fact he's, they were already there and he's the extra one, which makes it 007. Even that's a really cool little nod of, okay, like, not everyone's going to clock it, but yeah, I really appreciate what they did with the story, and I think it shows. And I know it's really hard not to talk about the upcoming film. We don't know if that's going to be an origin film. We don't know if it's just going to start with him as James Bond on a mission like GoldenEye or something. But what this shows that you can do a Bond origin in 2026 that isn't Casino Royale.
Yeah.
And the character, I mean, someone mentioned Greenway earlier. He's my favourite character in this game. That's all I can say on that. I love a lot of the characters. Q. How great is it? We've got an older Q who isn't mocking him or isn't too smart for him. It's almost, as someone mentioned earlier, like not necessarily like a father figure, but it's like an actual work relationship. Like there's someone that respects him and he teases him, but it's not
an elder.
Yeah, and even like walking around Q Lab, there's a lot of fun. Like there's so much to explore, and I think that's the benefit of releasing Bond as a game, that you don't. If you want to just get in that room, run to Q and start a mission, you can. But if you want to go around and look at all the other stuff and the gadgets, you can do that too.
We designed customized field equipment for that extra edge.
I'm not getting a cyanide tooth, if that's what you mean.
Cold War myth. We prefer to keep you alive.
Then we're on the same page.
They absolutely got it right of what's needed in a game versus what's needed in a film, and it's up to the user to determine their experience. And without jumping into the gameplay, and I mentioned Call of Duty earlier, the fact that this is a spy game and there's a lot of spy work and there is action scenes, and it isn't just get in the room, get a gun out and shoot them. You can maybe try it eventually, but this is like there's a balance, and it feels like however you'd like to play is taken into account. And I think that goes a long way. Like for me, like as Chris, I do the stealth stuff, but if I've done 2 or 3 rooms of stealth, I've had enough. I'm just gonna beat them up. So there's so much fun to have. You guys are making me want to replay it already. Like,
Some of those early training missions where you're meant to sort of stealth your way through, I ended up, just beating up poor, training guards.
Boys,
Cressida's our top driver. She'll take you through the drill.
learn from the best, as they say.
And you better learn fast.
Don't let it. Give me 100. 1, 2.
Well done.
Charge him. Come on.
Top that. Hit 3 targets. Lucky shot.
Something like that.
Even that one, that run, apparently there's a trick where you can...
Yeah, you can go around the outside, kind of.
Well, you just skip and go over to get the flag or something. The red flag is it. You could say it's a bit annoying as though, you're meant to be training and do all that. But I think there's even a bit where like only Bond would do that.
Roger Moore would do it.
Get around the rules.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about it. Is the options of when you are like surrounded by guards, you can, I don't know, shoot a gas pipe to explode. That to me is very much only Bond would do that. Yes, you can go and beat them all up. Yes, you can stealth around, or you can do something that only Bond would do.
Yeah.
And you can tell that a fan's made this game.
Yeah. John, whilst you're talking and on that, without spoiling the Slovakia mission, you said in our WhatsApp that the Slovakia mission had everything that you love about Bond.
Yeah.
Can you, without spoiling, can you explain how they've managed to do that? What you mean?
Yeah, I'll try without spoiling.
Well, the only spoilers are more like plot points. If it's
so those Slovakia's
what abilities?
I don't want to say all that you do though, because I don't think that's fair.
Okay,
Who haven't played it. I love the idea that he starts levels driving in as an introduction. I think that's such a lovely thing. Is that you've got your exposition, so we're going to do it while we're driving to a venue. So you're playing the game to start off. So Bond driving.
Did you drive slowly, by the way, in Slovakia? I don't know if you're allowed to drive fast, but I drove so slowly so not to raise suspicion.
I drove slowly so I didn't hit a barrier.
Yeah.
But yes, you do that. But then it just felt so Bond from the start. You stay in the car, and you just know you're not going to be able to stay in the car.
Afternoon. Invitation, please.
Blake and Loretta York. Plus the help.
Welcome to the Grand Carpathian. Parking is right up ahead. Mr. and Mrs. York, enjoy your stay.
Much obliged. Oh, they will.
And then the idea of him feigning his way in through the sneaking, pretending to get a pass.
Yeah.
So many quips throughout. And I'm just thinking, this is peak Bond here. This is everything that we love from the Sean Connery, the Roger Moore eras of these kind of things.
Afternoon, sir. Staff and press only.
Oh, damn. Forgot my press badge.
You're not the first.
Can I duck through? I need to catch up with that bellhop.
Show me your ID and all's good.
Better go and get my ID then.
If you want to catch your bellhop.
Fair point.
What the? God, sorry. Oh, my. What is... Odd.
Gate crashing a black tie event. Haven't done that since final year.
What?
Ken Banks, penetration tester. I need to have a stern word with your manager.
Good to have you on the team.
And then you go into this investigation stuff. So then you get Sneaky Bond. Then you get into... It becomes a mystery at that point, doesn't it? Is that room, the room 206.
Yeah.
And the way that you're having to climb on the ledges and that stuff. Again, it's taking thought. Some games would be... So I love stuff like the old school Resident Evils or or Tomb Raiders. They're great games, but it's one size fits all. You have to get to the room by doing this way, or at least the previous ones I have done. So you've got your options with that. You've got the little disguises you have to do.
Plenty of his friends, though. I'm not loving the odds.
I've had worse.
Well, in that case, get down there, draw their fire. I'll flank them. We need to keep that plane on the ground.
Well, what are we waiting for?
There's that English sang-froid. Bonne chance, James.
And then as you get further into the level, you go into areas where you've got tons and tons of goons, and you've got to choose, are you going to stealth? Are you going to absolutely just destroy these? So it's building up. I suppose in some ways I felt like it was a Lewis Gilbert film. I always use that pyramid analogy of it's building up bit by bit. Yeah. And then you get a fight with a boss or something like that. And then out of nowhere, and this is where I've got to be really careful, it explodes into the most cinematic experience of James Bond that I've not seen for years upon years upon years.
Yeah.
And when I came out of the level, I thought that had everything. That had the best bits of the Connery era, like the Dr. No investigation stuff. That had the brutal fights against Red Grant. So we had all that. It had gadgets of Goldfinger, and then it went into all our action big set pieces. It had Bond's charm. It had his stealth. It had the Timothy Dalton aspect of refusing to obey orders, but because he was right, because he had the hunch that he was right to do it. And I was like, this incorporated everything that I love about James Bond, but without sounding like a narcissist, I'm the one doing it. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, oh, I can't. It's the most fun I've had in James Bond since GoldenEye.
Yeah.
John,
I was just going to say, I'm not all the way through that level, but what I love about this level is that you think you're there, for Greenway to meet 009, and what you end up doing is like Bond following a hunch.
Yeah,
I've no idea how it's linked, but Bond needs to stop what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I mean, so in a story sense, it's so interesting. It's like, I don't know particularly what's going on, but I know what Bond, I know that Bond needs to be on it, and you're discovering it as you're going along. And I don't know what's happening, but it's so good. But I know a film would work differently, but it still makes me think like, whoa. There is so much potential, and there has been so much potential. And I don't know, it just, like you say, it goes to show what fresh writers can do.
Yeah. I mean, like you've said, the story, as you're playing, you do go along with it. Like you say, you are following people, you're in pursuit, you've got to stop something. You don't fully know why, but you're involved, you are doing it. But then how good is it that usually, from what I've experienced so far, following that, you play James Bond attending a briefing meeting with M and with Moneypenny, where they have a screen and explain, and they show you images of characters where you get to play that.
Miss Ponsonby, James Bond here to see M.
Thank you, Moneypenny. Take a seat. M will be ready shortly.
Take a seat. So, Iceland. Air crewman in training, accidentally stumbling upon an MI6 operation of the utmost importance. Initially willing to assist, but then you hang up on us. Go against direct orders, and ultimately blow up the invaluable asset we were there to retrieve.
I wasn't aware I was under MI6 command, and I just chose not to take your advice. Come on.
John Greenway.
Yes. And you're late.
I can't believe, like, him and his digs, him obviously at HQ, like, you get to play those bits as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to play everything pretty much. I know there are animations that finish levels or, the short bits, but really, it's amazing. I know my way around MI6. I know how to get from M's office to the lift down to the Q lab. And when I'm in the Q lab, I know exactly where to go to the shooting range, to go to wearables, to go to find him. Like, this is, and obviously GoldenEye was an absolutely fantastic game. I'm not at all taking anything away from that, but this is on a whole different level because it's its own story, and you do govern kind of where you go a little bit, and you can soak it up. Like, obviously GoldenEye was fantastic. This is like you're in the film, you're in the world, you are in it.
It doesn't go quite full Red Dead Redemption where you can just walk around with guard dogs and natural.
But you feel like you've got the freedom of the land. You feel like you're making all the choices, which is clever, isn't it? It makes you feel like you're making all those critical decisions.
I think Slovakia. This isn't going to dampen anyone's mood, but I think Slovakia is the most James Bond-esque. Like, that chapter, the entirety of the Slovakia mission is a James Bond film, is what you said, John. That where it starts off the hunch, rising tensions, into fighting a henchman, if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
This was in the gameplay. They released half an hour. They released the whole level.
I don't know what was in that, but I don't know if it had the end of it.
Living Daylights, Necros-esque stuff.
There's a twist in there that threw me during the henchman fight, which I won't say anything more about. People haven't got to that little. It's not that much of a twist, but I was like, oh, this is very cool. This explains.
Yeah.
And Octopussy vibes is the right one there.
Yeah.
And
very much so.
Where that mission ends, I'm like, yeah, this is And what I noticed, they so sparingly bring the actual Bond theme in, and you get little teasers of it throughout the whole game. And I really like that because it could have just blared the Bond theme at any moment, but when they choose to use it, it's way more
Yeah.
impactful. But the Slovakia
Yeah.
stuff I loved. And I feel that them releasing that as gameplay footage, if I'm honest, makes the most sense because story. I understand that I think it was Cameron Dyson in a post. Apparently, they've shown nothing off the final act of the game in marketing. If that's genuinely true, fair play to them because games industry, like the film industry, they love to reveal too much. So if they've really been coy with what they've been revealing, that's great. And a focus on the earlier stuff makes a lot of sense. It's so careful. I've got to be so careful to talk about it. Because
I can say at this stage, and I don't think it's a spoiler, at this stage, I don't know who the villain is.
No, neither do I.
Which is...
I didn't know. No,
yeah, you're like, there's loads of stuff.
What I'll say, it's a great story without jumping in. It's a great story. And it functions as a spy story. Can I say that?
Yeah.
My internet froze.
I've only got one criticism, and this isn't the James Bond side fault. The ending of the final level, this is not a spoiler, is a bit too generic video gamey, but that doesn't take away from the game, the story, the characters, anything. You know, like sometimes the film, right? They have to end the climax with a big action sequence, like a generic. Yeah. They went to a video game route at the furthest of the end, and it's people are going to enjoy it. But for me, it was just like, oh, if I take that like 1 minute out, this might be like an all timer. Well, it is an all timer, but you know where I've got to be so careful.
Yeah.
Because the only one I've been able to text about that is Sam. Because no one else. I mean, if anyone's like, I know you mentioned what the film people are saying. All my friends into film are loving this, and they might not even be big Bond fans. I think with gaming, obviously, I know in this generation, we're 6 years into the PS5 now. They're at the point they're not making games for the old gen. I understand. Again, I had a PS5 on day one, not to be smug, because I knew I'd get FOMO if I didn't. For when the games are out that I'd like to play on it, I'd had the console ready. I think at this point in time, everyone can access the console. I'm not saying, let me defend a studio for having a console to get a game, but you can't run this game on the old specs now. You wouldn't get those benefits. And really, again, my video game knowledge isn't like film, but I understand they're already all working on the PS6, the next consoles, the next engines, and for IOI to have started, I believe they've made this engine from scratch, starting that in 2020. And I remember last year, it got so quiet that people were questioning it ever coming out. I remember that. And then the trailer came out like a few weeks after. I think there's an interview with the director saying like he'd love to make a trilogy of games.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think with the turnaround that games have, they can probably make 3 games in as quick they made Craig's last 3 films, probably.
Yeah.
Not that that's much of an achievement there, but the games industry is notoriously tricky to get through, and I think with this game, what feels like a rousing success across the board, reviews scored very high from when I read into it. Gaming fans were really enjoying it. Bond fans are. Film fans are. There'll be younger people that find James Bond through this, and I think that's key. That whilst obviously I had grown up with the Brosnan films, me and my dad brought last week. We had The World Is Not Enough on PS1. Like we'd play that together, and having extra, I don't know what the word is, mediums to find fans. Yeah. There might be an 18-year-old who's never watched a Bond film, play this game, enjoyed it, now goes and watches 25 films.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I
then gets excited for the new film.
Yeah, exactly. And to Amazon's, I mean, it was weird seeing the Amazon title on the title because I'm not going to lie. Like, but I was sat there like, well, yeah, of course it's Amazon because it is now. Yeah. And I just watched the He-Man film yesterday. Didn't know that was Amazon either. That threw me, and they did well with an existing property in that one, I can say. But there's so much to enjoy. It's so hard to talk about as well, just because I'm so scared I'm going to say what I really want to say. I can't. And there's a character who was the best character arc of anyone, and I thought it was going in a completely different direction, and it didn't. Not in a bad way, not in a good way. I'm neutral on my opinion, but I was so invested that I didn't think I would be in some characters.
It's so good. We're talking story here, we're talking.
Oh God,
I know because I would say, just in terms of the gameplay, and I'm not someone who's played loads, but Uncharted is probably the one it plays maybe the most similar to me. But when I played Uncharted, those games are absolutely brilliant, by the way. But I think so during certainly some levels, I've been like, oh, imagine if there was a Bond game that was like this. And there is, but with enhanced Bondness and also this is quite strange. On the N64, we had a Mission Impossible game that I'd never really heard spoken about. But actually, there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that in this,
so
the sort of sneaking around and like eavesdropping and
disguises as well.
Yeah. So I don't know. It reminded me of those things, and so I pushed the boat out and got a PS5 on the basis that this game's coming out, but also on the basis that an Indiana Jones game was coming out, and that I've really enjoyed that game so far. I'm really taking my time over that. I'm still in the Vatican. I think that's very early on, but still wandering around there dressed as a priest, and
so good.
It's absolutely brilliant. But I think I'm way more excited about the Bond game. I don't know what it is, because Indiana Jones, one of my favorite films, but it can only be Harrison Ford, and it can only be, I don't know if I think of myself as as Indiana Jones or whatever. But there's something about Bond and the fact that you can have a new actor and in a new era, that just is like, whoa, this is now going. Bond is like you say, like Bond as an was it an air crewman on aboard, on the helicopter at the start, and it's just
almost like the Lazenby moment in terms of can we exist without Sean Connery? Is there enough good about Bond that it doesn't rely on and it's like, wow, we've unlocked a massive door here.
Absolutely.
Maybe Roger Moore's the better example. No, I'm joking. No.
Yeah,
the possibilities are now endless, aren't they? I mean, it's such a big property, James Bond. It really is. And what was it, 8 to 9 billion plus another billion maybe for the creative, that legal thing that they did at the end. It's a bit like when Disney, of course, bought Lucasfilm. Yeah. You think gosh, that's a lot of money, dear me. But they've obviously earned way, way more than that. I know they're very different properties, but it does show that there's something about it that will always be popular.
Yeah.
And if you can get a young guy being the new James Bond and it fitting in the same mold, when I was playing it, I did think kids are going to love this. I can imagine. How old were you, Harry, when you played GoldenEye? Were you about 7, 6, 7, 8?
95. When did the game come out?
It was 97, actually.
Bit late,
97 it was later, wasn't it? Yeah, so I was 9.
Yeah. But you had that at the same time as discovering the films for the first time.
Yeah.
And James Bond survived. It actually, the game world really, Bond fits into that brilliantly, doesn't it? Lord of the Rings are games, I've not played them all yet, but of course, it's the book that, goodness me, how difficult will that be to film? You're going to need way more technology. Obviously, they could only do an animated version. When they get the technology, and Peter Jackson, they absolutely nailed it. And of course, you can do games and stuff, but James Bond is so universal. Like the books, the amount of books that are coming out now as well. I think this shows as well. I know, George, you said you didn't know whether it'd be in the 50s. You could do a game in the 50s, couldn't you? Of course you could. The possibilities are endless. And I think we just need to be a bit more free. I think when the Amazon news hit, there was a bit of a divide between Bond fans. A lot of them, the majority of the hardcore fans were, oh no, mourning, I won't, that's it now. And you just think, hang on, this isn't Ian Fleming who's stopped writing them. This is a character that's been going on for decades and decades. It's just the films and different producers. That's what it is. And of course, the Broccolis and Harry Saltzman and Michael G. Wilson, we love them. We couldn't have had better producers. But at some point, it had to end anyway, didn't it? And the character's too big to end with that. So I think the fact we've got it, we're going to have all three mediums, aren't we? In a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, we're going to have everywhere James Bond, and it's a great time to be a Bond fan now. The anticipation,
absolutely.
To be fair to the Broccolis, they signed off on this IOI.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
At the I've never played the Hitman games. I've got friends that are really into them. And I remember when this was announced, like the very, very beginning, a lot of people are, it's just going to be like Hitman, but James Bond. Now, people put that as a criticism. I thought that sounded complimentary because Hitman was very popular and successful. But the thing that kind of threw me, jumping back to what you said, Matt, as well, the Uncharted comparison. Uncharted famously a rip-off, not a rip-off in a horror way, but Uncharted is the gaming version of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones is the American James Bond. Like,
it
all stems back to James Bond. And I will say I played the indie game at the start of the year. That's the last game I bought before this. Amazing. And to me, that's the third best Indiana Jones film. That's how much I love that. And
really worried why it's not the fourth. Which are the two above it?
Last Crusade and Raiders. I love Temple of Doom though, but that game was remarkable. And when they announced it, I was so
good. Yeah,
I was so concerned. Like, do I want Indiana Jones in the first person? But then eventually, you're just sort of punching people first person, and it's absolutely amazing. With this, it's kind of what you're saying there as well, Tom. Like, there's no reason this won't grow with people. And I know I can't turn this into a what we want from Amazon conversation, but get in on the merchandising, like Amazon. Like, not generically, to do a Disney and just monopolize everything possible, but the one thing we had as kids, we had the games. We could go into, there were magazines. You could go into shops and get toys, and I understand the last 15 years of having that prestigious, here's our very expensive brand deals and this, that, and the other. But you can have that. That's fine. There's an audience. But there's going to be an audience that wants the kids stuff and the middle tier stuff. And I think without us knowing what's going to come, with the way that modern media is going, I'd be very surprised. I mean, as everyone else to bring up Harry Potter, they've just signed a massive deal with Hasbro. And those films finished, 15 years ago. But they're going to be doing Hasbro products on the films from them. And if they can do Harry Potter film merch from a company like that, who are well known, I wouldn't be surprised if they are looking at stuff in the future with Amazon. Obviously, the priority for them is to
please
get the film going before we do any of the side stuff.
Well, another medium, you just mentioned merchandise. Another medium, the Universal Studios in England.
I was going to bring that up.
World. I mean,
the Bond stunt show. I mean, kids are going to be going there for years. Like my niece was born in the last few months. Not that she's going to probably be a Bond fan, but I was sat there thinking, when that opens in 2031, she'll be 5. I won't go to Mania Land with her. My sister can do that. But I will be off to the James Bond stunt show. And people will find it. I mean, the theme park itself sounds incredible. Like, I don't do theme parks because we don't really have them here. But the fact that we're getting a UK one, and to Universal's credit, that turns a different conversation. The fact we're getting a Lord of the Rings land,
as well.
Lord of the Rings lands. Originally, we weren't going to get Harry Potter Land, which was kind of stupid, can I say, because it's English.
Of course.
It's not far from Watford, and they've made a deal to get out of a contract to put Harry Potter in. There's going to be a Paddington Land, which is going to be massive. And when they said, we're getting a Bond stunt show, I was like, we should. Like, of course we should. Like Disney's got an Indiana Jones stunt show in America. We should have Bond here. And, not that I'm planning my trip this early, but I would be sat there on day one, like, what do you do first? You go to the James Bond stunt show, or are you going off to the roller coasters? And I'd be doing James Bond still.
I think this is possibly the most exciting era in James Bond. In my lifetime, I think, because I feel, and I don't want to be too critical of Daniel Craig or Barbara Broccoli or Eon, but I think it felt very limited and closed, and even the idea of someone else
deliberately.
Yeah.
But even the idea of someone else portraying Bond at the same time as Daniel Craig might have been something that they wouldn't, in a game. It might have been, but I just can't see that would have happened. But and he had so much control, and almost as though he was bigger than Bond in some ways. And I'm not wanting this to be critical, but what I'm trying to say is that this game, and the fact that there's this stunt show, and that we've now got the new film and it's Amazon MGM, means that Bond is so much wider and not just so limited, and not can't be dictated to because it's too big for that. So I really think some of the things George is talking about is so exciting.
They've got the best in class though for each thing. Like I keep saying, IO
with
Interactive
audience-
were the best, weren't they?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
You've got the best director, the most critically acclaimed director to do the film. So
I think audiences have. I don't want to call people stupid, and I don't think it was. I'll look at Marvel and say that when Tobey Maguire left Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield came in. It wasn't not a hit, but it wasn't Tobey Maguire, right? But within 10 years, the general audience is probably the better term here, is understandable of different iterations or concurrent individuals. Going back to Arkham, I remember when I got the Arkham game, I was like, wait, that's not Christian Bale. Who's this guy? And I feel that audiences are a bit, I don't want to say smarter, but they're more understandable of, we have a game version, we have a film version, we have a this version. And I think that in turn makes it easier, and as a weird backhanded compliment to, by there not being as much of this sort of stuff in the recent 15 years, it opens the box of excitement for what's to come. And I don't want to make too much of a Star Wars comparison because it's a bit harsh, but in the same way 2015, in the lead up to Force Awakens, I'm very much one of the prequel crowd, but merchandise was everywhere again. Everyone was talking about it. Oh, will they be doing TV? Obviously, when we get to TV in a few years, everyone's like, look at the potential of TV here. Obviously, very different. 5 years later, like anything, even Marvel run its due. And I think when you're seeing the likes of Kathleen Kennedy coming out saying Star Wars needs to be more like James Bond, it needs to be an event. There needs to be one every few years. If Amazon can maintain that, well, I don't want to say milking, I don't know the right term, but if the film comes out, let's say 2028, which seems the obvious date, if the next game comes out in 2030, the next film 2031, you're getting things. I don't want to jump ahead with speculation, but you can keep it going, but those different mediums are coming in at different times.
100%.
And I think that this is almost like a beautiful warm-up for the films that, yes, we know, my own thoughts of the film is the same way, I think, Tom and I spoke to last year, like when they announced Denis Villeneuve for Bond the week before Dune started filming, and that felt intentional of, he's about to start his next project, let's get him in now. I think we're going to get the Bond announcement in October, not just because it's the James Bond day. I don't want to criticise that day. Every franchise has a day these days. And I feel that Bond will be announced before the Dune press tour starts, because they know that every single interview in the lead up to Dune will be asked who's playing Bond, and they can ask journalists, please don't bring it up. Someone's still going to do it and get the clicks and get the views. And it feels, when we get the Bond, then it's going to be great when we're filming. And I know there's murmurs of spring next year. I know there's murmurs of which studio it's going to be at. It's exciting. And I think the game does this, sorry to take it away from the game, but the game does this phenomenal job of, it's like not keeping you busy in the meantime, but it's, you get to have a James Bond that isn't just now waiting for the film.
Yeah.
It's a weird tangent, but it kind of
works.
It's difficult to know how planned it was, though, really, because, like we say, this was conceived back in the Eon era, wasn't it?
Yeah, before No Time to Die had come out.
Yeah,
it was the green light.
All I realized is that games take a very long time to make. I mean, the Spider-Man games, the first one came out in 2018, the second one 2023.
Yeah,
and I know they're doing a Wolverine this year, which is the same studio, but I think my understanding of the games industry is there's a lot of time in between. I think a lot of it, in this case of the first one, because they had to build an engine from scratch, I think that's like a bulk of the time. But whether the next game is going to be PS6 or 6, also 5, I don't know, without getting too extreme, but when they're making this game, they've probably got ideas for sequels.
Oh yeah,
this isn't a spoiler. This doesn't happen. But I was sat there before I started playing, because I thought it was going to be set in the 50s. I was like, what happens if not Goldfinger pops up, but when someone might make a reference to someone else? I'm like, interesting. Obviously, the end of Batman Begins when the Joker card's there. Nothing like that. But the game devs and writers are probably sat there thinking, who could we play with? Do we want to take someone? Do we want to keep creating new characters, or do we want to go to something people are familiar with?
Yeah,
because it's, correct me if I'm wrong, the Web Industries group that pop up, you know, the machine at MI6, all these kinds of things. Like, they could have called that thing in MI6 another GoldenEye, but it's not. But they're like, this is this new tech we're using, which is a smart way to then be like, because of this new tech, this is why you get to do this in your screen like this. And, you know, even the Omega deal is pretty cool. And it's like they've actually gone and launched an $8,000 watch in sync with the game coming out. When's that ever happened before? A game has had a tie-in watch of $8,000.
Yeah.
Only James Bond can get away with that.
Now choose one.
What's the difference?
This one's maroon. That's navy, burgundy, winter grey. Ah, I wouldn't have predicted that, but I suppose it suits you. You're the first recruit to receive one. Give it a moment to calibrate. Switch on the Q-lens overlay.
I thought the game was the perfect balance of adding new kind of original stuff, but so many lovely subtle references to Bond films though, and to other characters. And I'm glad that I don't see a Jaws pop up in this.
Yes.
I'm glad that it's like got its own characters who feel like they're in the Bond universe.
Yeah.
Even the locations, Iceland's been in a Bond film before, but this is a very different portrayal of Iceland than what you get in Die Another Day. But then, so far, you know, we've done Malta training, brilliant. Never been to Malta. Slovakia is a really interesting country. I mean, we have technically been to Slovakia.
Yeah, Bratislava, but not.
Not like this.
But yeah, exactly. We put it in an opulent castle in like such a kind of aspirational setting.
Yeah. Oh.
Tom, you've been going on for years about how Bond needs to be in Africa, and then we go to Mauritania. You know what I mean? And that's all we are so far.
You took your time.
A little tied up mingling with the locals.
Pay the man, Bond.
Here we are. Cash and crypto.
Thank you for your contribution.
The Englishman. Where is he?
You'll need to be a little more specific than that.
The ex-spy Bavma's hiding. Where is he?
Look around. You have no power here.
Know that if this is an attempt at deceiving me, I will erase your entire bloodline.
Afternoon, ladies. This wouldn't be the way to the Copacabana, would it? I'll take that as a no.
It's not just like a checklist of we'll go to these locations. It's thinking about, well, where would Bond go in these locations? And it's so in keeping with the Bond universe. And it excites me for the film because it highlights to me that you don't need to ape something that's gone before. You can do something completely new and original and yet make it feel Bond. It doesn't have to be one or the other. This game has done it for me, is that it's totally original, but it still feels so Bond. And I think that synergy is it's been missing, hasn't it? Yeah. It's been a bit baby out of the bath. So all the cliches are coming out tonight. It's been a bit like some people have felt the Daniel Craig era is not Bond enough. And then they've gone to No Time to Die. Oh, they're trying to bring it to Bond with references and all this. And they've struggled to find that balance. And then this game comes along. And I think it just opens up a world of possibilities. It's the best thing that I've seen involved, which has James Bond on it, since the film GoldenEye to me. It's the best thing this millennium. Genuinely. And I love Casino Royale and I love Skyfall, but this is incredible.
I think Skyfall more than Casino Royale was like an event and people were like, you know, Bond is back. This is like a celebration almost. I know not completely, but of what makes a Bond film, what we include. Yeah. Whereas Casino Royale was deliberately going down a different path. So I think, you know, it was really popular and is, you know, did really well and is still really popular. I don't think it's necessarily so popular because it's so Bond and you know, all the things we love about a Bond film or... Absolutely. You know, so I think Skyfall did do that a a bit, but we have been starved, you know. And I'm a Die Another Day defender. I think most of us here actually might be.
Yeah.
But obviously that wasn't a perfect kind of situation. So
Like the context around it, like the games came out at the perfect time.
yeah, I
That's
think
sort of
the fact that this game's come out now, and the fact that it's an original game and not No Time to Die the game, or you know, or even if they'd done Casino Royale or Skyfall the game, you know, or something like that, and it's a new, you know, it's a new actor, new story set in modern day, new imaginings of the other characters, but not so ridiculous that you know, woke finger or whatever, Tom, that GB News would have you say. It feels like such a special time that I've not really had before. And you know, we started this Bond podcast in 2020, just before No Time to Die came, and we already had our own baggage going into that. And then the film happened, and I'm not saying that we were we were excited for it, but I think we were a bit reticent about certain aspects, like what they're going to do about this, what they're going to do about that, but this is
a whole heap of nothing for a while. So to
yeah,
get something,
absolutely, yeah. Where the only thing that could, for a couple of years at least, the only thing that could have filled that gap is Barbara and Michael announcing who the new Bond is and what, and you know, all we got was, well, they're working on a script, or they're always working, you know, and that's it. And it's so limited to those few people, and whether they want to do it or not. Now, the world is Bond's oyster
because they've opened it up. Like there was, like you say, it was a quite a closed circle before. They didn't trust many people to. They didn't like to reach out so much, and they thought they'd struck a winning formula, and they wouldn't veer away from it. And I know people are a bit dubious about sort of Amazon being involved and, you know, being less British or whatever. But for me, Scandinavians have just produced one of the best Bond moments in history.
Wow.
I think in some way it takes an outsider to give you what you want for so
Mr.
long.
Nolan with Batman, you could say.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Certainly those who were involved at Eon towards the end were so insular and yet wanting to reimagine, remix, and do stuff. I think it takes an outsider, and I think the same is true of Amazon. I think it needs an outsider to give the people what they want directly. And I think, like Matt said, and like you're all saying, this new world that we've got of Bond shows that there are fresh eyes, and actually from lots of different directions as well. You're getting a lot like. Yeah, it's an incredibly exciting period. And to speak about the game specifically, if I may, as well, though, like there's something that works so well with it because, of course, Bond is escapism. Video games are escapism, and like when I was engrossed in playing this game for the first time in a decade, playing a game, it was a different kind of escapism to watching a film because obviously a film you are just an observer. You do get sucked in, of course, if it's a good film, but. And I tried to say this in my first play view. If you're a Bond fan who's not got access to this game, obviously it's a big thing to get a console or to get hold of it. But try and get an invite round to someone's house. You need to experience it. And if you're someone who's got it and you're a Bond fan and you know someone who's not able to play it, invite them round. It's a big thing to miss out on, even if it's just to watch someone playing it. This is a Bond world that we are escaping into, like in a new way. And you know, whatever your background in games, I really think it's historic. It's not just for gamers. It's for Bond. It's for Bond fans and film fans. It's a really big moment. So I would absolutely implore people to give it a go. And like George said, that tutorial level as well. If you're nervous about computer games. It's a great tutorial that gets you right into it very quickly. Don't just think that First Light is for a portion of people, a certain portion of people. I think people have got to see this. It's huge.
On that point as well, one of the biggest Bond fans in the world, Lorenzo Granger, substitute agent, he's unable to get the game. I just want to plea for the American Bond fans, people who live near him. He lives in Memphis. He would do anything to play this game. And I know he'd love the game as well.
Yeah.
So if anyone's, I know he's watching, But anyone else who's in America who can either help him get the game, get the console, that would be unbelievable. Because I think he'll love this as much as anyone.
Yeah, I agree. He would be. Yeah, I think it's got, knowing Lorenzo like I think I do, it's got all the tropes, the fun, the excitement,
women.
Yeah.
Even her sex.
The memes though are everywhere. It's so baby's Twitter. It's just.
Tell me you're not checking out.
I'm being upgraded, actually.
Of course you are. You must be important.
Very.
The Emperor Villa will be ready shortly. Please make yourself comfortable while you wait.
Oh, I'll do that, thank you.
I didn't catch your name.
I didn't give it. John?
Drinking alone was never my forte.
Well, I didn't realize you were this thirsty.
Parched, actually. You were freediving.
Yeah, being a marine biologist comes in handy.
Oh, what's your number?
Chasing a 6 at the moment.
6. Very impressive.
People think it's all about the lungs, but it's all in the mind.
A mistake easily made.
So, what can I get you? You seem the kind of guy who knows what he likes. So let me guess, you don't like it too sweet. You don't like it too complicated. You like it straight up.
I've been known to experiment.
Audio, James. Still on. Tea time.
But it would absolutely invigorate him and many people. Like, it is more than just a shot in the veins. I think it would, it's like life altering. And I feel like I'm going over the top here, but I think like we're all Bond fans who've managed to get by talking about Bond for the last 5 years on a podcast. And that's been enough for us. But we've had John in this conversation say this is the best thing since however. Like, this is huge. It's massive.
Yeah.
And I agree with John.
It's reminded me why I'm a Bond fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
What an incredible endorsement for the game. Like we say, if you haven't got it, or you're waiting for like Christmas or something like that, that's perfect, because obviously you need some time, don't you, to soak it in. And I know like George and Sam have managed to get the time to play through it, but of course others might just want to go at their pace, and it can be done like that because of the way it's structured, the levels, and it does give you that tutorial. That Iceland introduction was fantastic for me. I was quite nervous because it was quite tense and trying to avoid being seen by these guards and all that. But yeah, as you go, and then we say it's an original story, so there's no link to any other Bonds. But yeah, there is. There's all the tropes of Bond. M is in it, Moneypenny's in it, Q's in it, cars are in it, gadgets are in it, guns are in it, stealth's in it, locations are in it, missions in it, storyline is in it, and just James Bond being James Bond. Now, every iteration of the James Bond in films, books, everywhere, they have had that genesis, that thing you can't. It's like the X Factor, isn't it, of being James Bond? They've all had it to different levels, and they've accentuated different features of Bond. In a game, you can accentuate them all, can't you? Because there's so much more to play with. Once you play it, you might fire through it. Don't worry if you don't, but it's always going to be there now. It will always be there as a thing that we can play. And we're already excited for the next one, but let's just soak in this period, enjoying this. And I think it'll keep us going until the film, won't it, really? I mean, at this rate. Or at least when we find out, they've started filming and things like that. It is a good time to be a Bond fan. We will probably do a full, proper, ridiculous, really 007 review, which will totally spoil it. But of course, it won't be spoiling it. It'll be just saying how good it is and go into detail about the plot. Because obviously, I don't personally know everything yet. Not everyone here does. George is desperate to talk about this, I know, so he will have to come back for that.
If there are people who want to play it, and they might say it's too expensive, which is fair with PS5 games, don't knock a CEX type for the video games. You can, when it's a single player game, people complete them, they trade them in quickly. If you want a digital version, go on Shop2. You can normally buy the PSN vouchers much cheaper. So I paid £50 for my game, which was 60. But what I will also say is because it's also a single player game, and this isn't a discredit to the game, this will be on sale in a couple of months. Like if you're and ahhing or you can't justify it, it's a lot. I can guarantee you by the end of summer, this will be like 40 quid. Just if that helps people making their decisions on because certainly single player games have always had that reputation recently is of they get completed quick, but I just thought if that helps anyone,
and like there's also it's true to say is it that like still I know we're on the PS5 but certain families for their younger children might get the PS4 like can you still access old consoles and old games, and so like this experience, you could still buy it in 5 years time for your children when they're of age, if you know what I mean, when PS5 is perhaps no longer the current console. And like my version is on PC. It's going to be around for decades. It's like you'll be able to access it whenever. Definitely worth it. And like Georgia said, there are ways to make it work, and I really couldn't recommend people do that enough.
I just want to big up the makers as well and everything because they've done such a good job. And there might have been the temptation, like I say, to adapt a previous film or do something, a bit like the 007 Legends or do something else. But to actually make it a new story and a new film, essentially a new film with a new song, embracing all that part of it.
Bond in a different age as well. That's a gamble.
Yeah, it is. So I just want to praise them for doing it, for choosing to do it this way, and for doing such a cracking job with it. Because it's just like we say, how much joy this has brought to us already, and is going to bring us.
One thing I'm sure we've said it. I can't remember fully the context, but we've said it in our film reviews, perhaps in recent years, that actually to make a Bond film that's within the formula is harder, and you've got to be more inventive than just doing a reboot where you don't apply the tropes, where you don't apply the rules. They have done one of the hardest things possible here, the writers. They have created a new game, a new story that is completely within the framework, completely within the formula and within the rules, and yet feels so original and so new. And I think that's what we all want. It's one of the hardest things to do, but it's what we all want. And they've done it. They've done it.
And before there's any talk of it, we weren't given a free copy. We've not been paid to say this. We're just Bond fans like you guys who've paid for the console, paid for the game, and absolutely love it.
Oh, can I tell you guys about the press? I'm not going to lie, guys. I tried to get myself a press copy.
I thought
curious about how it works. No, so obviously film stuff's different, right? You find the publicists, you send them emails. I'm writing or doing for this. We're trying to do some launch coverage. Here's all of my plans X, Y, Z. And genuinely for the channel, without plugging it, I want to branch out because Bond was like, I kind of want to do a Bond review, but we're a film channel, but it's James Bond. And the only reason I didn't was because it was the Champions League final weekend. I was at the parade on the Sunday, and I rushed the game ready for Saturday. I was chatting to a colleague. I was like, "How does your partner do press for games? Is it the same as films, or is it different?" Because he writes for an independent magazine, so it's more independent stuff. So everything you do is through Discord. I was like, "Show my age now. I don't know how to use Discord. Don't have a Discord." And anyway, did some digging, got the publicists, and it's really different to film, but in a good way. That the moment you have to get an IOI creator account, and no doubt they reached out like publicists do for certain press things, like at MCM Comic Con London last year, they were offering interviews with the game director. But I think at that point there'd maybe been one trailer. But when it had, I was like, if I can get an early copy of Bond, it just means I can play it before the football, and I won't have to spoil. Because if anyone ever played Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I got the game spoiled when I was on the last level doing a live stream. It was when Darth Vader popped up, and I blocked that account from ever commenting on our channels again. Didn't even mean it maliciously. I was just so angry. Anyway, straight away they're like, your short videos must average 10k views per short, and your long form videos 5k. And my friend was saying apparently the games industry is so wild. There's so many people applying, which I understand. But I was also like, you know what? Like, fair play to the game devs, because I'm a relatively small channel, right? If I got an early copy, I could spoil it for 1,000 people. Not that I ever would.
Yeah.
But they had a decent amount of status needed. Maybe outside of Star Wars Galactic Racer, I don't have much interest in trying other games this year that isn't going to be GTA. But it is interesting seeing I don't know if it's the same for you guys, branching out from the film side, right? Going into the gaming sector is so wildly different to what I'm used to, or you guys are used to, and I just thought their process was really interesting. That it's all done on Discord servers, which is wild. There was I've never seen a premiere for a game before.
Yeah, how good's that though?
Yeah,
like I saw like Empire, but like Empire were there, the games, and but I was also like, what do you do if you're attending? You're just watching someone play. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like for the social side of it, you're gonna let you play a demo like the old days and then go home for that. I couldn't wrap my head around.
I think
it was very cool.
They showed the first Iceland level, and then there's a Q&A, I think.
That's fair. But it was nice to even see them treat the launch of the game like they would have filmed.
Yeah,
I think that goes a long way.
Definitely.
So exciting. And we will be talking about this game for a bit yet. We're so excited. Not all of us have completed it, of course. And then we will do a big review on it. But like we say, if you haven't got it, do try and get a copy. Try and get to somebody's house and play it. It's not like GoldenEye where you could go around for half an hour and play a quick multiplayer game. You're going to need like 24 hours at least non-stop probably to complete it. And that's if you're a good gamer. So that means it's better though. I think if people have completed it in 2 or 3 hours.
Can I add, it's challenging. Like I don't want to be arrogant. I'm a pretty decent gamer, particularly with shooters as well. And I was like, there was a couple of levels. I was like, this is challenging in a good way. And this is why I'm not knocking people that watch-alongs. It's why I hate watch-alongs of games, because you don't get the experience that the people playing are. And I understand if you can't play the game, you want to watch cutscenes, that's fine. But when you've got a really difficult level, the kick when you get it right, it's excellent. And this game the Slovakia, there's the henchman fight. There is a lot of people messaged me like, I'm really stuck on this henchman.
Yeah, I was struck.
And I'm like, not to brag, I was like, I thought that was the easiest one. I can't say where I got stuck on, but there was some things that threw me later on big time. Like, how do I get past this? And I think that's great. And that's me playing on normal. That's not me, on the hard
intended.
difficult.
Yeah,
and I want a challenge in the game. It's more rewarding that way.
Brilliant.
Thank you for watching and listening. We are going to go back to playing the game. I think it is replayable as well, isn't it? It isn't just go through it, do it. I know there isn't a multiplayer, but that might be one for the future, because I think they needed to just focus on a proper Bond mission, not get distracted, not try and copy GoldenEye 007 or the subsequent games that have come out since. And I think it's looking like it's going to be one of the most popular Bond games of all time. So that's something to be really proud of, because it could have been a flop. This was a grey area, isn't it, of James Bond, where we don't have a screen Bond yet. We don't have a film to promote. There's not an awful lot to say. We're in limbo. But the game has given us something extremely exciting, something tangible now, something that we can luxuriate in, something that we can tell our friends about, get younger fans involved, which is crucial. This is a great time to be a Bond fan. And hopefully the next time we chat, we'll have more news on the film. But it isn't like we've said. This is not just a precursor to a film. It's not a stopgap. This is something that, had we known it was this good, we would have been unbelievably excited for the last 5 years, wouldn't we? The fact that it's come quite quickly in the end, hasn't it? It's just come upon us. It's out. We can play it. It's so exciting. And it just proves this is why we love James Bond more than any other franchise in the world. He's on all platforms now. He's in your living room. go play the game.
I thought you were going to turn into Mr. White.
Kissing your wife.
Brilliant. All right, thanks, chaps, and we will be back. James Bond will return.
Okay.
Second light.
Yeah.
What is this now? You want to blow us up?
Yeah, thinking about it.
And destroy the asset? MI6 would never.
I'm not MI6.